Hello, American Lit students, and welcome to the final video of the summer 2016 semester. Exciting, isn't it? It almost seems like before a class really gets started well, boom, it's over. But that's the whole summer B term experience. So, remember tonight, if you're watching this on Monday, is the due date for the Founding Fathers paper. You need to get those in because I'm going to start grading those almost right away. Then we got next Sunday, next Sunday is the due date for the Rip Van Winkle paper. And the reason that due date's on Sunday is I have to turn your grades into the registrar Monday. So I can't go back in after I've turned in the grades and say, oh, somebody submitted a paper late, and give you a new grade. So get those papers on Rip Van Winkle done by Sunday. Now, speaking of these papers, I did grade the ones on the English settlement. And I must say that I'm pretty disappointed. Not a lot of improvement from some students. There were some A's. I gave out some A's, but not nearly enough. You know, an A essay is one that I hardly have to comment on. When you get a lower grade, I have to make a lot of comments on. And remember, I sent you by email instructions on how to open up these essays and see my comments, and that's also in the useful D2L handouts folder. I'm still getting emails from people going, how come I got such a low grade? Well, if you'll open the doggone essay and read my comments, you'll know why you got such a low grade. But this time around, it was just very disappointing. Some students not following instructions. They wrote about one author instead of the required minimum of 3. Talking off topic. All kinds of crazy things going on in these essays this week that really, after having turned 2 essays in already, I would have hoped that your third essay would have been a better quality. So we've got to follow the directions, and we've got to get these things in on time. I have been enforcing late penalties because this is such a compressed semester that I have to. So get those papers in tonight, and then get those Rip Van Winkle papers in by Sunday, not Monday, but Sunday. All right, so let's talk about the Rip Van Winkle paper a little bit. This is going to be a fun reading, and Rip Van Winkle is not in your textbook. But what I have done is in your Rip Van Winkle folder, I've got a PDF of it. So you don't have to go looking for Rip Van Winkle anywhere else. Just open the PDF that's in the folder, and you can read Rip Van Winkle that way. And everybody's citations, and remember, you are required to do direct quotes. Everybody's citations should, in theory, be the same page number because you're all definitely reading the same thing because you don't have to go looking for it anywhere else. I've already provided it for you. So read that little Rip Van Winkle thing that's in the Rip Van Winkle folder. That's the story as written by Washington Irving. 400 to 600 words. Let's make that 400 to 750 words. 600 words seems a little bit not enough at some point. So 750 words will probably be a better way to do this. Now, you only have to quote from one source because you're only required to read one story. And it's going to be a fun story. Rip Van Winkle's a lot of fun. I think you're going to really enjoy it. The questions that I have for you, the authenticity of history. It opens up with a guy, well, my little chihuahua just left. It opens up with a guy saying that he was going through some historical records up in the Adirondack Mountains of New York, and New York State, upstate New York, and he ran across the papers of somebody named Diedrich Knickerbocker. Now, it's important to note that Knickerbocker is another name for a person from New York. So that's something that is very interesting about this particular story. And can we believe history? Can we believe what our history teachers tell us or what we read in the history books? This is one of the questions that's raised in Rip Van Winkle. The allure of storytelling and mythology. People love a good yarn. People love to hear a good story. It's why we go to the movies. It's why we read books. It's why some people read graphic novels or comic books, whatever you want to read. And it's why sometimes, if we have an old timer around that knows how to spin a good yarn, we'll just get lost while he rocks back and forth in his rocking chair. Yeah, back in the 60s? Oh, those were good times. Let me tell you about the one time that whatever. We all love a good yarn. We all love a good story. And there's an allure to it. And Rip Van Winkle taps into that a little bit. The inevitability of change. Rip Van Winkle is going to fall asleep for 20 years. He's going to go out into the woods to get away from his nagging wife. And then he's going to, he went out hunting. And and he's going to run into some magical creatures who are going to give him some kind of ale or something, and he's going to drink that down, and it's going to put him to sleep for 20 years. And when he wakes up, he's not going to recognize where he fell asleep at. His gun is going to be rusted. His dog is going to be long gone. Not like my little dogs here, right, Annie? My little Jack Russell Terriers right here, right? All right. So his dog is going to be gone. He's going to walk back, and he's going to see kids he doesn't recognize, even though he's very popular with the kids in his town. He's not going to recognize his own town. His own town is going to be different after 20 years' time. And, once you get a certain age and you can start comparing what town was like whenever the town you're living in now was like when you live in it now and the time you're going to live in the future, you're going to see that it's going to change a lot. You're going to be able to point to a building and say, I remember when that building was the whatever. And that building over there didn't exist until 3 years ago, and so on and so forth. So he's going to come to a new town that he doesn't recognize. And not only that, he's going to wake up in a whole new country. When he falls asleep, New York is going to be an English colony under the rule of George III. When he wakes up, he's going to declare his allegiance to George III, and he's almost going to get executed right there in the town square because he no longer lives in an English colony. He now lives in a brand new country called the United States of America. And that's why King George's picture is no longer over his favorite watering hole, but George Washington's picture is. So, and it's going to take some old lady that recognizes him after looking into his eyes and saying, wow, where have you been these last 20 years, to save his life. So it's a very intense moment whenever he declares his allegiance to King George III. Change is inevitable. We can't stop change. Change is going to happen. If you read A Rose for Emily in English 1102 class, you saw that theme play out in the pages of A Rose for Emily. So, change is inevitable, and Rip Van Winkle is going to talk about that, and how when you're removed from life for 20 years and you come back, and to Rip Van Winkle, it's just like you slept overnight. It's like you went to sleep and then bam, you woke up and it's another day. But for the rest of the world, major changes have happened, including the formation of a brand new country. And then the freedom for man and for mankind. So there's going to be a lot of talk about freedom. Whether that talk is Rip Van Winkle being free from his nagging wife, whether that's going to be talking about the citizens of a country or the citizens of a colony, and so on and so forth. Freedom is going to be a theme that plays out in this story as well. So pick one of those themes as you're reading through the story, and you should be just fine. All right. Again, that box is going to shut down at the stroke of midnight on Sunday night when Sunday night becomes Monday morning. So please do not miss that deadline, because I have to get your grades into the registrar on Monday, and that means I have to grade your papers on Monday. I can't grade your papers on Tuesday and get the registrar's grades in on Monday. So read my notes on your essays. Try not to make the same mistakes. Stay on topic. Follow the directions. For the Founding Fathers, you're going to need to quote at least 3 sources again, just like you were supposed to do with the English colonies, and that, again, some students did not do. So if you do all of that, I want to give out nothing but A's on these last essays, but I'm not going to do it because I feel lazy. I'm going to do it because you have actually taken the time to write an A quality essay. If you write a lower quality essay than an A, you get a lower quality grade. It's just that simple. So on that note, I just want to say thank you so much for taking this journey with me through early American history and through the literature of early American writers and pre-American writers, for that matter. And if you never take another class with me again, I wish you very well in your education and in whatever your job prospects are that education will lead to. And thank you so much for giving me a good summer.